All right, you guys, happy Monday. I am excited to be here with all of you. My name is Kimberly Hawkins. I am a leader in the Boom Squad, been doing Arbonne for 8.5 years, and absolutely love nothing more than just the opportunity to pour into others. And this training was written for a local boot camp we did at the beginning of May. And Shannon asked me to bring it here. So I'm excited to do it. And it's funny, like anybody who trains and like you write something when you're like so in the middle of it. And so like going back and looking at it this morning, I was like, okay, I remember like everything I was feeling. You guys, this business is such a gift for so many reasons, and we're going to get into that. But it is truly, and if you've been around for a minute, you have heard people say, this is a personal growth opportunity with a compensation plan attached. And it's exactly what Arbonne is. So if you are like skirting away from the personal growth side, and that looks like so many things. Obviously, it looks like the things we talk about, like what are you reading? Your podcast, your, gratitude, like writing down your goals, all of those kind of things. But it's also doing things to get out of your comfort zone. It's leading yourself, things like that. And that has been probably the biggest gift of Arbonne to me, is helping me become a leveled up version of myself. So if you are newer to Arbonne, just get excited about the person you're going to be in 8.5 years or in 8.5 months. You guys, it happens fast. It happens as quickly as you lean into it. And it's not just in the Arbonne world. Like Arbonne will affect every area of your life if you actually like walk this out. If you walk out the personal growth side of it, you will find that you are a better wife, mom, friend, all of it, business partner. Like it really does help every area. So we're going to talk a little bit starting about just being here on purpose. And I think a lot of times we recognize that. A lot of times we just think, oh, yeah, like Arbonne just kind of fell into my lap. And I want to suggest to you that you are here on purpose, that it is a divine thing that you landed, that Arbonne landed in your lap, that you were introduced to Arbonne, right? So, and maybe it happened, like, I feel like it happens in all sorts of ways. Maybe it was like the Holy Grail of Fizz that introduced you to Arbonne. Maybe it was the greens. Maybe it was the business. I am someone who did not use the products before I started my business. I know that's pretty rare, but I say that because I want you to know that there are people praying for a business and not necessarily products. And when Shannon approached me about Arbonne, if she would have just focused on products, it wouldn't have landed, because that's not what I needed at the moment, right? I needed a business opportunity, and literally she met me where I was and showed me the vision of what this could be for me. So comment, I want to keep this super interactive. So let's keep, I love that the chat is blowing up, but how were you introduced to Arbonne? Like, was it product? Was it business? What, like, who was it? Like, just tell your story a little bit. Let's hear how it came into people's lives. But you guys, it doesn't matter what the intro is, whether it's a skincare sample or whatever. That was just like something to get your attention. And a lot of times, the Lord will use people who are no longer in the business, right, to bring someone into the business who's meant to be here. And I want to suggest also that you are not in Arbonne necessarily for you. We come in and it's usually like a selfish, and I don't mean that disrespectfully, we all did it. Like you have selfish goals surrounding starting a side hustle or a business or whatever. A lot of times it's you need another income stream, right? Maybe you want the community. Maybe you need to change your health. Ultimately, Arbonne is not something that has to get to you. It has to get through you. So are you like able to be used like a pipe so that we can get that like the miracles that Arbonne carries to other people? Or are you trying to just hold it and like, okay, I'm good. Like this business has given me what I need. So I don't necessarily, maybe you have a great corporate job. Maybe you don't need another income stream. So you're just like, you're good where you are. You guys, that's selfish. And it's not about you. And as soon as you take that lens off and you stop making it about you, all the conversations you're avoiding, all of the things that feel hard and scary, they all change because you see it through a different lens. And it's like, oh my gosh, I could actually change her life. She needs this. And it doesn't have to be weird. The conversation doesn't have to be awkward. I get to actually offer her something that maybe she's praying for, because when Shannon met me, she had no idea what I was praying for. But I'm so grateful now that she was direct. She was clear. She followed up, even when I didn't return her text messages, all the things. So if we can all agree that we are not here by accident, we're here on purpose, and that it was someone's vision that you caught, and it doesn't have to be the person who sponsored you. Sometimes it is. It was for me. And then it was a series of other people over the last 8.5 years who have given me a new vision, given me an insight into their story. Maybe it was the person who brought you in. Maybe it was your first GTC. You guys, it's GTC month, which is like Miracle Month in Arbonne. If you will attach yourself, I say it all the time, proximity is power, and you are going to be close to people in Arbonne who are going to pour vision into you. You're going to see Arbonne through the lens of people who have walked it out, who have pushed, who have had ups and downs in their businesses, and you're going to see it in a different way. You're going to see people at GTC that you're going to be like, oh my gosh, she reminds me of somebody. And you're like, I'm going to reach out to her about Arbonne. If you will go to GTC with an open heart and an open mind, it can change your business. So somebody had a vision that they lended to you, and now you get to have that vision and give to someone else. So since we all agree that we're here on purpose, let's be on purpose. And that means that we are having intention behind every conversation that we have, behind our reach outs, behind our client follow-up. We're not just doing it to check the box. Anybody still use these OG daily method for success pads? I don't know if you can still see them. I know a lot of people use the 90-day cycle journal. I used these when I was going nation, you guys. I feel like they make me do more than the journal. There's a lot of boxes to check. I don't even know where we used to buy them. If anybody knows where to get them. But they're great. You just got to have a system. You've got to have your own system to keep yourself on track. I will send a picture of this to all the MVPs, so you will get it if you need to see what it is. But it's just, instead of just doing things to check a box, it's doing things with actual intention. And sometimes that looks like, and honestly, just transparently speaking, it looks like a season of sometimes doing less and focusing on quality over quantity. I have had seasons of insane intensity in my business, and it has served me at times. And then I've had seasons of, okay, I want to focus on quantity. I want to make sure the conversations I'm having, that I'm actually taking time to like get to know people. And it ebbs and flows, and you'll know if you're in insane momentum, if you're in region qual, if you just went region. I mean, we have awesome momentum happening in this organization. So you probably are in an intense season, and that's incredible. If you're trying to build the momentum, sometimes it requires doing both, the intensity as well as, being very, very intentional with your conversations. But the beautiful thing about this business is it's a season and it's not forever. So if you're in a season where you feel like, oh my gosh, it's so much, you're going to miss that when it it goes up and down. But you will reap the harvest of all those seeds you're sowing for years if you'll do it. So intention behind our work, connecting our heart to our reach outs, our asks, when you're coaching your team, when you're interacting with your clients. I feel like a lot of times this falls through the cracks with people. We can have a very transactional mindset around client business conversations and stuff. It's like we push so hard to get that first initial order. You guys, our PC program makes sense because of the loyalty attached to it. That's what you're trying to create, is client loyalty, that, clients that order for years. And that's when it makes a ton of sense. So, but you have to coach them, you have to teach them, you have to love on them and encourage them and expose them to new products and all the things. I promise it doesn't take a ton of time. It just takes discipline. You have to Put it on your calendar if you have to. Do 3 reach outs a month for people that have expiring rewards. Anybody who has an account that has expired or is soon to expire, they should hear from you this month with the promo. Like, love on people. Same thing with your wholesale buyers or your consultants who aren't super active. Make sure they're hearing from you right now, especially with GTC and all the new products. And I loved Pam's training last week, like teaching us how to be prepared for what's coming. So if you're just checking boxes or you're posting and praying and thinking that's a business strategy, you guys, you're setting yourself up for disappointment and frustration. We have incredible products, right? But this business is the best product we have. So just make sure you're telling the whole story. Sometimes it's easy to just focus on products, especially when you're newer, or if you're in a season where you're just like not feeling it. It can be hard. I think we just get in our heads about the business, but it's actually the best part of what we have. And the more like casual and confident you are as you share the business, the more it's going to land and the more you're going to find your people. And just remember, it's about planting seeds. So I'm going to jump ahead a little bit because I was going to say this at the end, but I'm going to say it now. So like, we have to think about like, I know we have some farmers' wives on the call too. So like, just like farmers, right? Like when you're looking for a harvest, there are seasons, there are planting seasons, there are watering seasons. Eventually there is a harvest, but no farmer would ever go out like frustrated during harvest season that he doesn't have a crop. If he planted no seeds, he would be delusional. But sometimes in Arbonne, we think that it's just the passing of time that will produce a harvest. Because you cannot break the law of sowing and reaping. You have to plant the seeds. You have to water the seeds. It's not up to you when they sprout. And, you've heard it before, like the fruit is the last thing to show up on the tree. But I had a friend remind me recently, like during the winter season, when it's cold, it's wet, it's dark, that's when trees actually grow their deepest roots. That gives them the strength and the stability to hold the abundant fruit that's coming. So if you find yourself, and you will at some point, like this isn't like a spoiler alert, like it just happens, you'll find yourself in a season sometimes that feels like winter-ish. But if you can switch your perspective and be like, this is actually a gift. Like I'm going to do the work. I'm going to stretch. I'm going to grow so that I have the capacity to hold the blessing that I'm praying for. Like that's ultimately what you want. Okay. We're going to do a little tough love and switch gears and talk about patterns, because in years of just watching myself as well as coaching dozens and dozens of other people in this business, I think there are some patterns that stand out that you might see yourself in a little bit. So I want you to be real and transparent. If you're comfortable putting it in the chat, call yourself out. But if not, just get real with yourself. Take some notes. And I want you to focus on yourself. You can have like a side conversation about people in your team because you will have to coach people through these. But right now, let's just focus on you. So your patterns will reveal the problems that you are creating in your business. So just see where you identify. Maybe you're a push and then pause girl. Maybe it's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to run. I'm running to my promotion. I'm going to get there. I sprint. And then you put your hands on your knees and you're like, whew, that was hard. And you put your feet up for the next 3 or 4 months. And you are actually self-sabotaging. You are losing the momentum that you prayed for, that you pushed for. So push, pause. Maybe it's blame, whether you're blaming your upline, your team, the economy, Arbonne, any circumstance. Maybe it's blame or justify. We hear that too. Like just, I don't really care. I'm happy where I am right now. Maybe it's all talk, no action. Maybe you're someone who comes out all the time with like every month, you're like, this is my month. These are my goals. This is what I'm doing. But once again, you're not planting those seeds to see the harvest. Comparison, you guys, it steals joy. You've heard it forever. I believe that comparison also steals our potential because, I mean, you can think about it just like social media. You get on with an intention to create, and the longer you linger and you start comparing yourself, it steals your creativity. It steals the potential that you had to be on and show like whatever you're putting out into the world, because we start comparing ourselves. It's so toxic, you guys. We all do it, but try to eliminate it. Cheer people on. If you struggle with envy or jealousy or anything like that in your business, become a cheerleader. Genuinely cheer for people. Pray for somebody else's business and watch your heart change. Justifying, isolating. Are you someone who, when things get hard or you miss a goal or whatever, you're like the Homer Simpson meme? Has everybody seen that meme where he like goes into the bushes and hides? I feel like that's a thing sometimes. You guys, I said it earlier, proximity is power. Don't isolate. Put yourself around people who inspire you, who encourage you, but also who call you up. We don't have to call each other out. I mean, sometimes we do. Find yourself a really good accountability partner who's not on your team. You'll probably meet her at GTC if you don't already have one, but someone who will call you up, call you on your BS when you need to be called out. And the last one I call Katy Perry syndrome. You're hot, then you're cold. You're yes, then you're no. You're in, then you're out. You're up, then you're down. Can anybody relate to that? Like, so many of us, so many people. I feel like it's like when it's good, it's good. But then, like Shannon has said this for years, like, don't let your highs be too high and don't let your lows be too low. Your identity cannot be attached to the numbers in your dashboard. Your vision in Arbonne cannot be attached to the numbers in your dashboard right now. You have to know that you're here for a purpose, that things are, that you're building something. Speak life over your business. Speak people into your business. Think about the people you want in your business. And I was chatting with some girls on my team last night about like, make a list. And I know we always have, I want you to make 2 lists. I want you to make like a fresh dream team list of people you would like to sponsor and bring into your team. Because I think it's healthy to have that to work off of, to be reminded of, to pray over, like have that list. Also, have a list of the characteristics of the type of people you want to bring in. Go through and get really clear. Get really clear on the type of person that you want to work with. And the longer you've been here, you'll know what you're looking for. You'll know that discipline and, goal-oriented matters. You'll know how much like positivity and likability matters. You'll know like exactly what you want. But then I want you to take a hard look at that list and like, where do you see yourself? Is that how you're showing up? Because that's who we're going to attract. We don't attract what we want. We attract who we are. And so if you feel like, when you are having conversations or when people are coming into your business, I do want you to look in the mirror a little bit and just have a moment of self-reflection. Like, am I being the most positive person? Am I disciplined? Am I leading myself? If you're not leading yourself, but you're praying for a team, you can't lead them. You have to lead yourself first. So the very first person we're given the opportunity to lead is always ourselves. And like we talked about at the beginning, Arbonne will level you up in all areas of life. But I think a great reflection for where we are is to look at other areas of life, because how we do anything is generally how we do everything. So maybe you need something like really committing to the 30-day. That's the easiest way to level up your business, in my opinion, because you'll feel good, you're clear, your energy's up, you're focused, you're talking about the thing we sell, right? It's great for everything. I've done a 75 hard before just to check myself on my business, and it's incredible. But maybe you need, like, look at it. How are your relationships? How are your conversations? How's your workout life? How's your regular corporate life if you work in corporate? Like, just take a hard look at other areas of your life and you'll recognize patterns. And it's probably not just Arbonne. If you tend to isolate, you probably isolate in relationships. Maybe you give your husband like the silent treatment. I don't know. But it's usually things like we we have patterns and we do things in all areas of life. So if it's really sensitive to take a look at your Arbonne business, look at other areas and see what you notice. And know that like patterns matter, because what you do, think of creating new patterns. So we can recognize the patterns we don't want. And then we're like, I'm going to create patterns that actually serve me in my business. Maybe that's a morning routine. Maybe that's adding something like a checklist. If you've set this down for a month or a year or whatever, pick it back up. Create some patterns in your life that will serve you. And you kind of have to muscle it, just like a workout, until momentum builds. You are like trying with all your might to pick it up. And then eventually you're in the swing of things and it's going and it's easy. And have you ever heard the saying, like, fall in love with working out to the point that your hardest day is your rest day? And some of you will relate to that. Some of you are like, I hate exercise. I cannot imagine that. But if you really fall in love with moving your body, it is hard to take a day off and get to that place where if you do nothing for your Arbonne business one day, and not every day has to be hair on fire, like grinding, but Arbonne becomes a part of your life, so that it's just natural to have a conversation about it, or you have people texting you, whatever. It's just part of it. And it would feel really weird to go a day without an Arbonne conversation. Get to that point. Know that faith and fear cannot exist in the same space. So you are operating out of one of them, and you likely know which one that is. They have a sound, they have a feeling. Fear sounds like, we're just going to see how this goes. I'm going to give this a whirl for, a few months. I hope to promote. I hope to build a team. I hope I'm going to hit my bonus. We'll see. And faith has a sound of conviction and certainty. And it doesn't mean that you can control the circumstances. I have had faith and missed goals, but I don't care about that goal. When when the month turns over, it's like, that didn't change my vision. Okay, I missed it. I'm sad for a moment, but you just keep going because your vision is bigger. Oh, okay. Stop waiting for fear to leave, because I think a lot of times we just think, like, we'll just wait long enough and I'm going to feel differently. If I've been in Arbonne for a year, if I've been in Arbonne for 5 years, if I've promoted to whatever, I will feel differently and the fear will go away. Evidence of overcoming fear is not listening to another podcast, reading another book, even going to GTC. All of those things are great, and we've already talked about their value. It's not making a vision board or being on a team call. Evidence of overcoming fear is operating in faith. So activity, activity, activity. The only way you will move forward when you feel like overwhelmed or sometimes even like constricted, like you're like, I don't even know what to do. I feel like I've lost my voice. You just push through. You just do the thing that you're trying to avoid, and you will feel so empowered by doing it anyway. Right? It's not like waiting for courage to show up. It's just like pushing through. And then you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so encouraged. That's actually how it happens. So consistently and courageously playing offense in your business will disarm fear. Okay. And so I am short on time, so I'm going to wrap this really quickly. But just know that, like, if you're someone who's feeling pressure in your business, and sometimes that's from the outside, maybe it's a spouse, maybe it's like a legit financial need that is putting pressure on you to build this business rapidly. I have been there and I understand it. And I would challenge you to consider it a blessing, that if you can look at pressure as preparation for promotion, as like you are being prepared to expand. If you can look at, I feel like every blessing in Arbonne and Not has a front side and a back side. So like we want the front side, we want the promotion, but a lot of times we don't want the pressure that it takes to get there. We want the expansion, but you don't want like the agitation that it took. If you're being prepared for expansion, it's not a fun process. Like you're going to have like a feeling of discomfort, a feeling of agitation that you're being pulled to a different place. that is a gift to make you go where you're meant to go. So you have to be willing to battle. You have to be willing to fight, not like crazy. I'm not talking about like crazy grind, that kind of stuff. I'm saying heart in it, nose down, clear vision, like be prepared to fight for what you want, because it's during that fight that you're gonna, just like the tree, just like the roots that grow strong, you are gonna grow so that you can be the leader that your future team needs, so that you can hold the blessings that you're praying for. So I just wanted to just pour into you guys and give you like a new perspective on, just being in all seasons of your business, as well as a little tough love around our patterns. So I appreciate you being here. I'm trying to be cognizant of time. So thank you guys. Happy Monday. I think our GTC countdown is on. We have like 2.5 weeks and we'll see each other. So thanks for being on, you guys. I love you and we'll see you soon. Bye. Arbonne takes over Vegas. Yes.